Hey guys, it's Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. So this is the long-awaited video of how to play my BLOB Party Time board game. So sorry it's taken so long. I just started college and I work full-time and blah blah blah. But we're going to start this video off and the game by shuffling the cards. I also gave it to my mom to shuffle. Then we're giving out the personality cards of the players we're going to play. Now the first step into playing is you have to set up the playing sequence. So this just says once all the players have chosen the blob they're going to play as, you must arrange the playing sequence. This means who will go first, second, and so on. To fairly do this, each player will roll the dice and they must remember their number. Player's sequence will be decided by the dice. Least number goes first and greatest number further down the sequence. Whoever rolls a larger number is going to be later in the line. A similar thing is for placing the present playing pieces. Now that the sequence has been decided, you are going to place the presents on the playing board. These presents are not playing pieces. You cannot play as a present. 6 players is the maximum since there are 6 blob characters. To place the presents, the players must roll the dice. It does not matter what player rolls the dice. It does not give them any advantage every single time the dice is rolled. It's different. So the present playing pieces are placed on the dessert squares before players begin playing. There are 6 dessert squares and there is a number that goes along with each dessert. The key is shown on the next page, basically saying that the strawberry milkshake is 1, so if you roll a 1 on the dice, you would place the present on the strawberry milkshake. So now that the game is set up, we can start to play. So all of the cards are pretty self-explanatory, so when it says go to the flavored ice cream, you just take your blob character and move it to the flavored ice cream piece on the board. Now we're just going to play the game like normal, picking the cards, following the card and their purpose. If you look in the rule book, it does tell you the playing card and their purpose, but like I said, they're pretty self-explanatory and tell you what to do. Now at the present playing pieces, you move along with the present, but if you move backwards, if a card has you moving backwards on the board, you have to leave the present behind. You do not have to place the present back where it originally was, even if it is on a totally separate square like an orange or a pink square. It is 100% up to the player to know their blob and what their personality is, what their perks and their downfalls are. Now, the other players may take note of each player's downfall, but not their perk. They don't want you to win. So Chet's perk was he has proudly baked all the treats on the board. So if the player playing Chet lands on any square, they can automatically move up an additional 3 squares. So knowing your blob is very important. Also knowing the storm cards. We have a tornado, we have a hurricane, and it is important to know those because you have to move backwards. But if your character has a special trait that allows them to not move back as much or to move back half, that's important to know because that gives you an advantage. If you draw a card from the deck that has you moving backwards, you are able to put it back into the deck and pick another card because you can't move back if you haven't even started yet. With the thunderstorm cards, when you draw this card from the deck, you have to roll the dice to see how many squares the blob you're playing as moves backwards. If your blob has a special trait in relation to any storm card, it would be applied when you pick up this card. I am playing Chet, which is the baker blob, so I moved up an additional 3 squares because I made the pineapple soft serve. So I'm about to pick a rainbow bridge pass. This card is a pass for the rainbow bridge that is on the board. If you land on either square connected to the rainbow bridge, whether it has you going forwards or backwards, you must cross the bridge. Since this card has no value really until you land on either one of those squares, the player can pick again. So as you can see, I picked a move 6 squares forward card and I am playing my move. So the move my mom just made had her landing on an oops, looks like you're now running late square. These squares are rare. When you land on either square, you skip your next turn when it comes up. So if there are just 2 people playing, then the other person will pick twice. So the move I am making now is going to the honey donut square, and since I am playing Chet, who baked all of the treats on the board, I get to move up an additional 3 squares. So here I am. But that yellow square is not the winning square. Technically, I'm still in the game. Now I win. So if the players who are playing decide to play again, note that if you play again, you have to choose a different blob. That way you can play with it fairly and get new advantages and disadvantages to play with. So I'm choosing Archie, which is the smart blob, and my mom is choosing Lou, which is the artist blob. So my mom is shuffling the cards and I'm handing out the personality cards. And because it is a new game, we are going to place the present playing pieces in different locations. And we're going to set up a new playing sequence, only to make it fair. Then when the dice was rolled, it was a 6, so I'm going to place it on the honey donut because that is the 6th dessert on the board game. Then I rolled a 2, so we're going to place it on the flavored ice cream. Now we have to set up the playing sequence. Oh, I guess we already did that. Okay, now we're moving on to the storm card. So because she picked the thunderstorm card, she's going to put it back in the deck because she cannot move backwards if we haven't even started yet. So she picked a rare move card, which is when you draw this card from the deck, you simply move up 8 squares. And that is a big rare move. And she landed on the Rainbow Bridge square, but she cannot pass it because she does not have the Rainbow Bridge pass. So even though my mom got a storm card and she's moving backwards, she got on the confetti square, which are rare. So once you land on these squares, you can automatically move up 3 squares. I like these cards. These are the spontaneous die roll moving forward. So when you draw this card from the deck, you just roll the dice to see how many squares the blob you're playing as move forward. And I have another card for this, and it's the same thing, but it has you moving backwards. So it depends on which one you get. Obviously, I prefer getting the one moving forward so you can win the game. Because I had my mom test play this game with me so many times, she knows the rules, but just a reminder, if you get the present playing piece and you move forward with it, that's great, keep it, move forward, but if you have to move backwards, you always leave it behind. As we are just playing here, I just want to mention some possible playing moves and their purpose. So if you pick up 2 presents, it can happen. So if you pick up 2 present playing pieces along the way, you can either choose to give a present to another blob of the game, or you can roll the dice to place the piece. You cannot continue the game with 2 present playing pieces to 1 blob. Another one, if you land on a rare confetti square, automatically move up 3 squares. If at any point you draw a card that has you moving backwards and you land on this square, you could still automatically move up 3 squares, even though you just moved back. Another one, if you start off with the card that has you moving backwards, meaning that you haven't made the first move yet, put it randomly back in the deck. The last one, if you draw a card that has you moving back and you land on any dessert square on your final moving backwards move, you can automatically move up 1 additional square. And even though it does not say this in the rulebook, I am going to add it because it happened in the last game that we played. If you pick up 2 Rainbow Bridge passes, put the other one back in the deck just to give all players a fair chance to get it. So this is super fun. So the present playing piece is one that you want to get. If you have the present playing piece toward the end of the game and have reached the last 5 squares on the board, you can skip all 5 squares and claim the win. This is why you want to make sure that you're going to get those present playing pieces, because they will help you win. Just to show you before we wrap up this video, this is the spontaneous die roll moving backwards. So when you draw this card from the deck, you just roll to see how many squares you move back. The rainbow bridge as you cross, moving forwards or backwards. And this is a copy of the board that I put in the rule book just so you can see. And this is the possible playing moves and their purpose that I already explained to you. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was a super talky video. I've had a very underwhelming amount of entries for my board game, which I'm not going to feel bad about because I know I killed it on this game, but I'm gonna give it until October 14th, which is a Saturday of 2023, to enter and win the board game if you have not had a chance to. Then I will close it completely and then I'll just put it up for sale. Thank you guys so much for the sweet comments, and I'll see you next time.